This sode would not be possible without the support of our listeners, patrons, and sponsors. If you'd like to learn more about supporting the 3-Bit Gamer Show, check us out on Patreon at patreon.com/3BG. And a huge thanks goes out to our boss-level patrons, Christopher and Patrick.
I'm just tired, man.
Dude, but we still got to record.
Let's just do a listener question, so.
JD, we're literally recording right now.
Fine. Guess we're just going to do a grab bag sode. A Santa's grab bag sode.
No!
Merry Christmas!
No!
This is Asmodan. Welcome to the 3-Bit Gamer Show.
It's the 3-Bit Gamer Show. I'm Santa.
This is Peterson.
And Aaron.
Shout out to Abby for reminding me about Santa JD. I had totally forgotten. Peterson had totally forgotten. Hopefully most of you had forgotten.
Santa
I
D.
erased it from my
Santa
memories.
D is,
J. Claus.
is back, and I'm never going away.
J. Claus is like the smoother version of it. This is J. Claus.
J. Claus coming at
Ho,
Peterson,
ho, ho.
Peterson and I both
moved in a little closer to the mic for J. Claus.
This is supposed to be like a smooth jazz radio.
Yes,
just like,
dude.
Welcome to J. Claus Radio.
Turn up your speakers and turn down the lights.
All right, kudos is our positivity segment, so we can kick things off on a positive note. Considering it's the holiday season, you know, it's appropriate.
Yeah, we got to be positive. It is officially Christmas season.
It's officially time to start acting good.
Yeah. Don't want to get that cold.
Don't be
be a
good.
dick.
Just act good. That's fine.
Right.
I have kudos this week that they're just 29 years late. I
Hey.
have
Old kudos is as good as new kudos.
retro kudos. Kudos almost as old as I am. This is a film that I watched for the first time going, I think, all the way through.
So good.
I have seen this film. I think I watched it all the way through, and then when I was like watching it, I was like, I've seen each individual
You've seen
scene.
bits of these.
I've seen all of these things before, but never have I sat down and watched it all the way through.
Never connected the dots.
Nope. Total Recall. With Arnold
Arnold.
Schwarzenegger. This is the 1990 film, and I saw it on like Netflix. And Jenna and I have been doing this thing recently where we've just been watching all the dumb 90s action movies.
So good.
I don't know why. It's just like our thing. And so I saw Total Recall. I was like, pull it up. We're watching this shit. And so I was like, because it was always on like cable, right? It's always on just like daytime cable. It's like the most
when they
perfect.
remove all the good stuff.
Like the 3 boobs.
Like the 3 boobs.
Aaron knows
3
exactly what I'm
boobs.
talking
Like,
about.
It's iconic, man.
I know, seriously. Didn't they put that in the remake? They like remade Total Recall.
yeah,
and
there's a scene
it's
in
completely different. They don't go to Mars. Mars doesn't even make an appearance. They've completely redone the entirety of the film, except they're like, 3 boob girl. I mean,
It is
come on. That's
a
the only way we were able to
staple
sell this to the studio.
of Total Recall. Like, people will not understand what's going on unless she's in it.
Wait, where is she?
Wait, can we get that same? No, we can't. We'll get a different actress.
I don't
we'll
get
get a
it.
different
I
actress.
don't get it. No, so Total Recall is like legit. I was shocked because it's a Schwarzenegger flick, and in my mind, all the Schwarzenegger flicks are dumb. And to be fair, this is still dumb.
Yeah. Oh,
don't
they
get me
are.
wrong. It's super dumb. But I feel like the story, after you once you actually lean into it and like explore the story, it's so packed with like details and subplots. I'm gonna spoil it like crazy because it's 29 years old.
Yeah, you can't. The spoiler limit is passed.
Yeah, but I mean the whole subplot of like it's not just the mind fuckery where he's like, oh, I've lost my memory, or it's like being rewritten, or I was actually a bad guy all along. All that stuff would be really interesting if it were a standalone film. But then they throw in the Mars stuff, and then there's not only is it like, oh, people are living on Mars, but it's like there's colonists living on Mars that are like being crushed underneath the boot of a corporation. There's another layer to the film. And then you find out that the corporation, because they control the populace via the air supply, they have
banned air supply
Yeah.
is in this.
They use air supply as
Oh,
like to like
shoot.
keep people down and calm. They just put on air supply.
People start getting riled up.
The
Play some air
90s,
supply.
the 90s was a lot more flexible. You could just do stuff like that.
Yeah.
No, so the corporation's controlling the oxygen, not the band.
Oh.
And they have also discovered ancient Martian technology that if you just simply press the button with your hand will immediately terraform the planet because it's like such advanced tech. It's just sitting there waiting for anyone to show up on the planet and then just activate
Is this
it.
a
And
button?
that's essentially what you put your hand in it like this because this is how alien hands look.
Yeah, of course.
Just human hands, but two of the fingers are together.
Yeah.
That's
It's
come on.
like half of a duck's foot.
Dude, it's like Indiana Jones in space. Because Indiana Jones could have easily just been like a swashbuckler film where he's looking for adventure. But then they throw in Nazis, and you're like, okay, cool,
Gotta have Nazis.
And then they're chasing down an ancient like biblical artifact that works. Like all of it just keeps adding layers to it, and that's how Total Recall feels. And yeah, it's a bit busy and kind of long-winded sometimes, but I don't know. I think that movie's awesome. If you haven't seen Total Recall, I'm terribly
lines
sorry.
From it are incredible.
They're pretty dang good.
There's
Some good
delivered with that classic Schwarzenegger.
down.
Yeah,
Get down.
It's really
He tells
bad.
people to get down, I think, 3 times.
He's a terrible actor.
He's really bad. There's one
That's
scene.
what's so amazing about him.
Consider this a divorce. Doesn't he say
Yeah.
something like
Yeah.
that?
After he punches her, I think.
No, he shoots his.
Oh yeah,
wife.
he shoots her right in the face.
He's like,
Sharon
but we're
Stone.
married, and she's got a gun behind her back,
And he's
and
like,
he shoots her in the
"Consider
head.
that
He's
a
like,
divorce."
consider that a divorce.
And then
That's
the
right.
woman who Sharon Stone just whooped her ass is laying on the floor and watches not only him like essentially execute this woman, but then he delivers this one-liner and she just gets up off the floor, is like, let's go. I'm not going to take any time to process this. Let's go.
Yeah, if that happened in real life, you'd be like, what is happening?
What is happening?
Did you just say a one-liner after
Oh.
shooting your wife in the face?
Yeah, just oh my god, you just don't even appreciate it. Like you're like, I'm not processing this. I'm not processing this now
This is a
or
real life
ever.
Schwarzenegger's like, man, she didn't even react to that.
And shit, that's the coldest shit
What
ever.
what can I do?
No, in real life, you're like throwing up in the shower, trying to like process all this.
Oh my god,
But
that's
Arnold's
a divorce.
like, consider these a divorce.
Consider that a divorce.
One more quick one, because we're just watching movies. That's all we did. All I did this break was watch movies and play video games, which I'll get into.
Sounds great.
The new Grinch movie. It's just called The Grinch. I think it came out last year. It's on. I think
the cartoon one?
Yeah, it's on Netflix, and I'm
Oh,
like,
yeah.
ugh, another Grinch thing, and it's a Netflix thing. I think so. I was like, oh, it's just gonna be some garbage. You guys remember that movie Spirit?
The horse?
The horse movie.
I know
No.
it exists.
You
Yeah,
know
I've
it
never
exists?
seen it. Yeah.
Well, okay, so there's a spin-off Netflix series, and because Jenna loved that movie, it was like her favorite movie growing up because horses. So I was like, oh, the Netflix series, let's check that out just on a whim. And it's like the animation is like made by animation students in their freshman year. They voice acting the story. Everything is so bad. It's so abysmal. It's like they just got the license to do it, but they never thought, should we do this? And that's kind of what I thought this was going to
can.
be. I thought the Grinch would be like that, but it's not. It's freaking amazing. Like it's got Benedict Cumberbatch, so Doctor Strange is the
He's
main
great.
voice. But like I was not expecting anything, and I was pleasantly surprised that it's like it's a pretty enjoyable watch.
I think
If
my
you guys
kids have already watched it.
yeah, if you're grinding through Christmas movies, you watched all the classic, you watched the Santa Claus 3 times, you're like, how many more times can I watch that? You watched Die Hard. Give this one a try. It's on Netflix.
I have never seen the Santa Claus all the way through or Die Hard.
It's like a Total Recall situation.
Whoa.
Yeah.
You should sit down. You might be surprised.
never-
Certain
like-
parts of the movie come.
You've seen parts of Die Hard, though.
Oh, yeah.
yeah.
Yes,
Okay.
I know, and I
It's
think I
impossible
know
to be
the whole
alive
plot
and
of
not.
Die Hard.
Okay.
I think I know exactly what happens and how it happens, but I've never sat down and watched Die Hard.
You're not Phil. You're not Plop. You don't have it memorized.
Plop.
Did you have one?
His name's Pete. Yeah, I got
I
a
was
quick
taking
one.
dumps. Why you call me Plop? Because we're always taking dumps. No, I'm
He's
not.
like, what? Okay, so I just finished a book, an actual book, not
Like
an
you
audio
read?
book. I read a book. Guys, it was crazy.
All right.
No, so we were going on vacation over the Thanksgiving break, and we drove down to Vegas, and I had just finished an audio book. And so I was like, oh man, what should I do? So I brought the Switch, of course, But as like a last minute, I grabbed a book that I got for Christmas last year. It's called Skyward by Brandon Sanderson.
Wait,
Oh,
so
snap.
you drove down
We drove to Vegas.
That's
to Vegas and you listened to an audiobook? Did all your kids just have to listen to some Sanderson?
no.
So
I
you were
just put it in
driving with
headphones.
headphones on?
Yeah. But no, listen.
That's what I was building to.
But listen, no, I didn't
Leading
do that.
questions.
I didn't do that.
Oh.
So we brought
This is his. Hold on, let me see the cover. Oh yeah, so this is one of his latest ones.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
this book, so I read Skyward, which came out in last year, in November last year. This is how amazing Sanderson is. He just released the second book of Skyward, like within the last week. It just came out.
Really?
And
The dude's like a writing
he's
wizard.
82% complete, as last time I checked, of his next Way of Kings book.
Sanderson is trying to set his own personal record of being able to write his books faster than people can read them.
Dude,
That
it's
is
crazy.
insane. And doesn't he teach at BYU
Yeah,
still?
he teaches. He writes. I mean, he's got several series going right now. But so I read Skyward, which Skyward is not part of his Cosmere series, which is like he's got a whole series of books that are like they're different individual series, but they take place in the same in different planets in the same universe. Right, and so they'll all link together at some point. That's called the Cosmere. Skyward is just a
So
separate
cool.
novel. It's just a separate thing that he just,
Just
had
get-
an idea.
get
and he was
bored.
like,
Just
I gotta
write a
I'm
throwaway
real
novel.
bored. I'm only writing a 600,000 word book. Ugh.
He does it. He also has a podcast, a
Does he
weekly
really?
podcast that I listen to as
Oh,
a
I had no
writer
idea.
because it's fascinating. If you are
He's
interested even in the slightest in writing, it's called Writing Excuses. It's him and a couple other writers. Fantasy. It's just fantasy sci-fi writing tips, and it's I don't know how he has the time to do all this shit.
I don't know either. He's
Unbelievable.
amazing. So
He's
maybe
so
he's four
incredible.
people. Wait.
Bran,
Whoa.
Dunn, Sand, and Urson.
And
Dude, is this like a
and-
prestige situation
Person.
where he has cloned himself
There you
using
go.
a Tesla device?
There you go.
And they're all Christian Bale.
Yeah. Yeah. He's got a bunch of Christian Bales in his basement.
Tight.
No, okay, so I started this book on our drive down.
The
It's
first
called
one.
Skyward. Yeah, I started the first one. Because I was like, the new one came out. I got to read this. So our Switch died because I made the mistake of putting my son in charge of the Switch, and he didn't grab the power cord,
Oh no!
and it wasn't fully charged.
Well, it doesn't last very long.
So we only
yeah.
had a couple hours of Switch. So, and it was a 6-hour drive that was way longer because of traffic and all this stuff. So I started reading Skyward, and I couldn't put it down. I started a few days ago and just finished it last night. This book is incredible. Just quick synopsis. It is. It has a lot of the like Ender's Game feel. So it's humans have crash landed on a planet in space because they're in essentially a war with an alien species that we know nothing really about. So these people are barely surviving down on this planet, and it's like full. They live in caves underground. The planet is surrounded by essentially a layers and layers and layers of space debris and space stations, essentially a shield for the planet. And so that's the only thing that like keeps them safe because the aliens can't really come down that often. This girl, she wants to be a pilot so bad, but her dad is famously branded a coward because in one of the most important battles they had when she was a kid, he retreated and his flight mate had to shoot him down because they needed to make an example. You can't retreat, right? And so her dad's dead. Brandon a coward. Everyone calls her, you'll be nothing because you're the coward's daughter, but all she wants to do is fly, right? Anyway, so it's like her. She goes into flight school, and there's all these like obstacles, right? She gets into flight school, which the pilots are like the most revered people in their populace. And so she gets into flight school, and they're like, no way she's going to fly. Like, we can't let her because she's the coward's daughter, right? Just crazy stuff happened. And so they've got like the flight group, which kind of feels like that's where it feels like Ender's Gamey. But it's all flight, like it's like Top Gun, space Top Gun, right?
Oh my God.
And it's written
How much volleyball is there?
The volleyball scene made me so horny. No, so it's written in a way. It's a young adult novel, so it's written in a way that is pretty easy to understand, but he's included all these new technology, and like some physics to the stuff, the maneuvers they're doing, and G-force and all that stuff. He's included all this to make it like kind of believable. Of course, the story takes all these turns, adds some really great characters. I couldn't put it down. Loved it so much. Finished it last night, and I told my wife, I was like, I got to get the next book, and she's like, let me get it for you for Christmas.
No,
I was like,
I can't wait.
I don't think I can wait. I think I have
way
to
too
read
long.
it right
23
now.
days? No
Yeah.
way.
It's incredible.
Okay, tell us the name one more time.
It's called Skyward
By Brandon Sanderson.
Please check it out.
Live from the 3-Bit Gamer Show. The news.
All right. So our news this week, as always, is brought to us by Crave Cookies. Crave Cookies is this awesome local cookie shop here in Salt Lake City. Well, I guess technically Murray.
It's all kind of the same
Yeah.
connected.
Yeah. So Crave has, let's see, they have cookies. They have 4 rotating cookies with a special cookie of the week. I think they brought back the pumpkin cheesecake cookie. That's what they're serving
what it
currently
looks like.
right now. They have pretzels, and they also do fancy sodas, or dirty sodas as they're called here in Utah.
Just real dirty.
Extra dirty.
Yeah.
So yeah, if you want one of those pumpkin cheesecake cookies, you got to go check it out. Alrighty.
Kind of a slow news week.
Super slow. So this is going to be quick. So first bit of news, looks like Valve, the Index, which is Valve's VR headset, like their
It's
in-house.
their Primo. This is their Primo headset. It's like $1,000.
Yeah. Oh, it's what we talked about when I said it would cost you $2,000 to get into this sport.
This is the best, actually the best VR headset available to consumers right now.
Yeah. It's
So-
just top of the line. And it's sold out. Even at $1,000, it's sold out following the announcement
crazy.
of Half-Life Alyx. So this thing's been out for a while, but then
year?
all they
I
need
think
to
it's been
do
out a
is
year.
just do a trailer for Half-Life Alyx, and all of a sudden they're all gone in every
Everyone's
region.
like, I guess I have $1,000 I can spend on this game.
The VR craze is so weird to me because it feels like it has died a bunch, but only if you're not paying attention.
Right.
And then every once in a while, you have these little blips, these little heartbeats, which is like Half-Life Alyx, and there's $1,000 VR headsets that they make, and people actually buy them, and everyone's still interested in VR. And then like that blip will go away until this game comes out.
Well, and
you'll
then
be
they're like,
"What happened to
they
VR?"
kind of like low key were like, oh, we released the Oculus Quest,
Yeah.
which is a cordless VR system that is very good. And
you can
like,
just go stand in a field.
You're just like, what the?
Yeah,
like
just these little blips of stuff that's going on. And
Yeah.
if you're into VR and that's your jam, then you know this is all going on. But for the rest of us, it's like, dang.
Yeah.
So way to go, Valve, I guess.
So just so much VR. Aha! I'm not going to buy an Index because it's $1,000.
Yeah.
But
Yeah,
man,
no,
I just
thank
want to
you.
play this game.
Yeah, it looks so dope.
Rent me your Index. That's what I'm trying to say. I will give you $20 for unlimited use of your Index.
I will not pay shipping.
Oh.
No fucking
Oh,
way.
no, you have to bring it to me. No, bring it to my house. Fine. Bring it to my house. I'll give you $25 final offer.
Well,
unlimited
$5, dang.
use.
Jump on that now, folks.
$25. You're recouping all those costs.
It's just like Uber Eats.
If you
but
do this
for
40
Index.
times, you've made up. If you do it 41 times, that thing's making you money.
Yeah, all these people's head sweat in your.
Oh, yes.
It's worth it.
Just wring
Oh,
that out.
by the way, I
into your
will
nice
not
little
clean
glass.
your device.
No.
You can
I'm
clean
going
them?
to use it, and then I'm going to give it back to you. You have to come pick it up.
You have to take it off my face. Come take it off my face. I'll be in bed.
If you do not pick it up,
ignore all the
I will
Cheetos.
keep it.
All right, so another follow-up to another story we've been kind of following is apparently in its first 2 weeks, EA has achieved the fastest-selling digital launch for a Star Wars game ever with Jedi Fallen Order. Jedi Fallen Order, the first single-player Star Wars experience in like 7 years or more.
Forever.
Which they were holding off on, because when you look at it, just on a spreadsheet, you see a multiplayer game that has literally endless earnings potential, or you see a single player game which has a finite earning potential because you buy the game, and 99% of people aren't going to buy a skin for a single player game. So that's it. That's where it ends. So you're like, yeah, no, we'll just do the multiplayer route because we could make so much more money if this is a hit.
Is there a single player game where you can buy a skin?
Yeah, all those Assassin's Creed games. You know, you can ride a chocobo in.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, and then you can have like the flaming horses and stuff. Yeah,
That
you
is
can buy those
wild.
things. And you know what? For like, and they're cheap. I think it's like $2.
It gotta be cheap.
And it's like a single player thing. And if you want to ride around ancient Egypt with a chocobo, go for it. I mean, yeah, that's
for some
kind
people that's worth $2.
That's fine. Yeah, exactly. That's what I was going to say. That's worth $2. But I think what this has proved here is that single player games are not dead.
No.
And anyone that was claiming otherwise is an MBA.
And yeah, I think
We
they
can't sell
tried
that
to
shit.
kill. They tried to kill single player games because of this same issue.
They were lying to
But
you,
then
folks.
God of War 4 came out, and
They're trying to pump it into your brains. They're coming at you, and they're saying multiplayer games only. Well, listen up here, folks.
Alex Jones hijacked our podcast again.
Well, they're trying to hijack your brains. What are you going to let them do?
How'd you even get in here, Alex?
I never left.
He busts
Just
out
sitting
of
in the closet with
behind
the
JD.
tinfoil hat on, just kind of
The acoustics in the closet are great.
It has been a long week.
That's it. That's the news.
Yep,
That's
so,
the news.
Well
That's crazy.
done, Star Wars.
Is there any numbers for that?
Yes. Let me
6.
pull up the article.
6 is that's the most they've ever
Technically, it's at least 6.
Told
sold.
you.
Well, because when you look at it, what was the other digital release on a PC for a Star Wars game? Because did Battlefront actually get released on PC at this exact same time as consoles?
I think so.
Was
Battlefront?
Oh yeah, it was.
Oh, yeah.
Battlefront was.
Yeah. On the
If not before.
on their launch on their platform. What is it called? The EA
Oh yeah.
Access or whatever.
Origin.
'Cause-
Origin,
Yeah.
Okay, sure.
Because that's where I played it on Origin.
I mean,
Okay.
yeah, and I can't find any numbers in terms, and you know, this does sound like
Search Star Wars Jedi Fallen
okay,
Order
that
and
much.
then 6.
Okay. Jedi Order
In Google.
6. Then I'm gonna have to click must include
S.
6.
Only 6.
Only 6. I'll put the 6 in quotation marks. Use some search operators. No. I don't know. I think this data does look cherry picked in order to make a compelling headline, which is
Sure.
fine. But I think it's still notable that EA is. No,
was
they're
successful.
acknowledging this. They're like, look, I'm not. They're definitely not saying we screwed up for the last 7 years, but it's kind of implied, you dumbasses. So, if you guys like your single player Star Wars game, I think you're in luck.
Yeah, wasn't there
because-
one that they canceled too?
2 that they've canceled in the last couple years.
They're like, oh,
is
we probably
that-
should have kept doing that.
Yes, I think they're going to see that people are sitting down watching The Mandalorian, for example. They're watching the new Star Wars movie, Episode 9, and they're going to be like, I want to experience this. I want a game. They're going to be itching for it. And if they don't hurry up and start pumping these out, the interest is going
That's the
to
thing. They
die
need to
out.
Call of Duty this. They need to have
Yes.
3 studios.
Yep, 3 Fallen Orders.
simultaneously working on different games.
Look, man, I get it, because if you look at Battlefront 2, the first one, the original one, and you compare the user numbers on that, and I don't think that game had microtransactions. I don't even know if the concept even existed at that point, but they had a user base that was massive. And then you look at Jedi Force Unleashed 2, the second one, which, you know, wasn't a cheap game to make, I'm sure. I mean, to be fair, it was a 6-hour campaign, and it had no multiplayer, so it was kind of a rig of a game in the first place. But you look at how much both of those made, and you look about, you know, I get it. I understand, like, I can understand why you would make that decision as a money man to be like, but at the same time, there's so much creative stuff you can do in the Star Wars universe, and it's such a shame to waste it by not telling stories. Multiplayer games don't tell stories. Star Wars is a story-driven universe, and just plopping a multiplayer game in the middle of it just isn't going to do it for people, especially if the multiplayer game isn't interesting or novel in its own right.
Right.
No one's just like, playing as a stormtrooper versus playing as a random Call of Duty player. I don't think most people give a shit.
No.
So, yeah. All right, so like I mentioned in the intro, we are doing a grab bag because my brain's torched, and we're planning for the Blursties. We're getting prepped for the Blursties, so keep an eye out for those coming up.
I mean, look, we got so much tryptophan flowing through our veins at this point.
I had turkey again last night.
We can't think.
No, so we're doing this.
First idea that popped into JD's head, we're doing it.
And Aaron's like, "Did you just write this?" I was like, "Yeah." He's like, "I can tell." It was the most shade Aaron's ever hucked me, but I knew I'd done a good job.
But he wasn't wrong. That's the problem.
Totally within the right.
JD's like deflates. Yes.
Yeah, I did.
He just writes what he's
I just
thinking.
fucking wrote it right now.
It's like, I hate this. I just want
It's
this
just
to be
Mad
over.
Libs for the intro at this point. So we've got
Mad Lib's intro.
Okay.
We need
I'll
to
write
do
one
one
next
of
week.
those.
I'll write one next week.
That'd be cool.
Okay, so we have two segments that are kind of fun, and that's going to be what we do today. So the first one, I wanted to pose this question because one of our news bits that actually got bumped into the segment, this is the headline on Kotaku. Streamer sets world record by playing games for 572 hours.
Ugh.
So it's not that he played it for 572 hours straight. He played it for 572 out of 720 hours. So he was playing 19-hour days.
Gotta
That's
sleep.
insane.
And then sleeping 5 hours, and then streaming 19-hour days. I
love video games.
also love video games.
This sounds horrible.
I don't like video games that much.
It's like just like punishing. You're
Yeah.
just punishing
It
yourself.
sounds like a prison sentence.
Yeah.
At first you're like, oh,
Like
this is
chaining
so
him to a
bad,
desk.
and then like a few days in, you're like, I gotta get me out of here.
It's less for me. I
Gotta
feel
get
like
out.
you'd snap not because you were playing a ton of games, but because you were just tired. Like
Of,
5
like,
hours.
looking at a screen.
Like I've done a few. Yeah, your
That's
eyes would be
exhausting.
exhausted.
Yeah.
He did some stuff with his your circadian sleep, cicada, some bullshit.
circadian
rhythm.
I know words.
Yeah. Well,
I think
he
he's just putting different vowels together.
He trained for this. It wasn't like one day he just
Yeah.
decided I'm going to do this. So but he did it for a month.
There's some listener out there who'd be like, who's thinking right now, yeah, I did this when I was in college. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I played for 19 hours a day. For how
That
long?
guy, they gave him the world record? Oh, bullshit. They
That's
didn't even
'cause they
ask
weren't
me.
paying attention.
Yeah, I don't know. It seems crazy, but also, I guess he talked about, he's like, I'm just pushing limits. I was like, I mean, you say what you will about records. Setting records is setting records, and that's
Man.
a hell of a record that no one's going to want to touch.
I don't want to touch it.
Nope.
So I wanted to ask if this was you, and I did come up with a good way to frame this. If you guys did this, would you do this for $250,000 going to charity?
So 19 hours a day for 30 days straight.
I would.
For $250,000 to charity.
Oh, yeah. Think of what that could do.
What kind of charity?
Your pick. It's your pick.
No, don't give me that choice. Don't
Saving-
put this on me, JD.
Afghanistanis.
Saving puppies.
Oh.
No, don't do that.
No,
For
don't say
Peterson.
puppies.
No.
No,
Guy
I
doesn't-
like puppies.
Guy doesn't
Puppies
care
are
about
fine.
animals.
You got to go with kids, though. It's got to be kids for me.
Yeah.
Save
Yeah.
the kids?
Save the kids.
I'll do it.
Just
Yeah.
save all the kids.
Just a kid saving charity.
Whatever
Is
you
that-
got, I'll save you.
JD's like, I am starting a charity. It is essentially Peterson donating me money. It's just called Save the Kids.
Okay, so
Got
would
bits.
you do it for $250,000 just for yourself?
For no, I wouldn't. Well, $250,000
For a month's work? I would
Yes,
do
I
almost
would. I would.
anything for 19 hours a day for a month for $250,000.
Oh, really?
Yeah, almost.
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 There's
Would you rather?
Anyway, so I thought, and what they talked about in the article is this guy did grind through a few games top to bottom, including Death Stranding. I think Death Stranding would be kind of perfect for this because it's one of those games that, like,
But you
if
just
you
fall
put it down,
asleep.
you're never going to pick it back up. So
Yes,
this is a game,
that's
if
true.
you've got your eyelids, like, stapled open...
But I think you would have to do
Great.
it early on because,
Oh,
like, you
yeah.
just
You
get
lose
so
all your
bored.
juice.
Yeah, you just it would suck.
I don't
the
know.
life
For
from
me,
you.
watching these gameplays, I don't think I'd get bored or tired. I would get livid. I'd be so just red
Yeah?
under
You'd have
the
to
collar.
switch it up.
I'd be so pissed all
I'd
the time.
have to switch it up. Here's how I thought this would go down. I'd start off my day with a couple hours of Rocket League.
You're doing the same thing every
to
day.
2 hours worth of Rocket League.
Okay, you've got a
Just
routine.
as like my prep. Like, got to do this. Then I would pepper in several games where you have like dailies, so multiplayer games. So I'm talking PUBG. I've got dailies. Fortnite, you've got daily missions.
Peterson is actually just describing his game night that he does
As
every
you said,
night.
this sounds like a
Sounds
little
very
too
routine.
planned out.
Yes. No, here's the thing, though. I could not. I would have a hard time playing even 6 hours because then I was like, what would I play? What would I
That's
like
interesting.
You
really
have to
sink
have a
my teeth
lineup.
into? The game that I would play and finish finally is The Witcher 3. Because
Sure. That's
I've
a long game.
Never
too.
played it. It's like 100+ hours.
Yeah.
Right? You can sink into. I've heard it's one of the best games ever.
Yeah.
I own it. I think I own 2 copies of it.
Witcher 3 is a great answer to this.
Yeah, but I couldn't just
For
do
sure.
that though.
No,
I couldn't
well, you
just do that.
can't because you need to fill another
Another
400
400
hours.
I meant like even for a day. Like I couldn't do 19 hours of The Witcher.
See, that's the question. Is because for me, I would. What would you do, Aaron? Because I have a bunch of games here that I would play.
I'd play
all the
through
way
BioShock.
through, and
Never
I was
played it.
thinking I would go straight through one, and I would play it until it was finished.
Yeah.
I'd need
Is
a
that
break.
what you would do?
Well, I mean, that describes my weekend.
That
with
was-
Jedi
that was-
Fallen Order.
That was Aaron's Thanksgiving weekend.
Just neck deep in
Well,
it.
so yes, I think I would do a game to completion.
Yeah,
because,
that's how I would
Because
do
like
it.
you're in it, you're in the moment, you get involved.
I'm not
trying out
learning a new.
different
I'm not
stuff.
switching controls.
Yeah, No,
There's
thank
no
you.
effing way. Learning.
Switching controls.
Because they-
like
you-
that's the hardest thing.
you would get so good
If you
at
go
it.
from PUBG to Fortnite, you're telling me that's just like seamless for
Yeah,
your
you're trying
brain.
to- you're trying to build a
literally
platform
did
in
that
PUBG.
yesterday.
Yeah.
Braggy.
But you do it for 19
So
hours?
braggy.
No. What if you had to
Yeah.
switch every time you died? You had to switch to a new game.
Just
That
like
would
kill
be
myself.
like
that would be
speed
pretty
chess,
awesome.
but for video games.
Like, crap! I died. Now I got to go move over to Fortnite.
Yeah, no,
crap!
thank
I
you.
died. Now I
So
got to go play
here are the
Rocket League.
games that I would go all the way through.
'Kay.
God of War 4, which I haven't beat, but
You never
I
beat it.
I feel like I got to the point in it where the map had just opened up, and you're like, oh my god, there's so
Yeah.
many places to go. There's so many different like
You get that
side
little
missions and
canoe.
stuff, and you had the canoe, and the whole world lake opens,
Yeah.
Right.
which I feel like doesn't happen for the first like 15, 20 hours. And I was like, or I just play super slow. And
I was gonna
like,
say I don't think it's that long. Is it?
I was play. Well, you played on easy.
I switched to easy eventually.
I played it on the normal.
It was
whatever
kind of
it
grindy
is.
for me. I don't know.
Oh.
Maybe I was taking forever.
Aaron throwing some more shade over here.
But like, yeah, when you recover the guy's head, when you chop off that guy's head, and then you like go, but that's when I felt like it opened up, and I realized how open the world was.
Yeah.
and that's when I stopped playing. But so I feel like I would grind through that whole thing. So that takes
Sure.
up 2 days of my stream, easy. Far Cry New Dawn, never actually played that. I think that's probably a 20-hour. Both of the new Assassin's Creed games,
Ooh, Assassin's Creed
they'd be
Odyssey
super fun.
would be
Odyssey
perfect.
and
Origin.
those would be great. Outer Worlds, of course, which I'm already planning to do this month.
Can I just do a quick aside here about Outer Worlds?
Yeah.
Oh, let's focus the
Because
attention.
I always talk about how much I love Xbox
Yeah.
Games Pass. Oh, it's the best thing ever.
Oh, I'd have to get Games
Get
Pass
it on
for this
your
whole
PC.
thing.
Go
Oh, yeah.
get it on your PC. I did. I paid for it. I have it on my PC. Downloaded the Outer Worlds because I wanted to do a restart on the PC. Guess what?
It carried
I
over.
hit the play button. Nothing happens. I hit play. Nothing. Play. Nothing. I don't know what to do. I think I have to delete it
and reinstall
and
it.
reinstall. Which, guys, on my internet speeds, that is
it's like 100 gigs or
Okay.
some nonsense.
So Xbox Game says this is the first negative I'm giving them on the
Wow.
PC. It is not working.
The check didn't come through this week
It
from
works
Microsoft.
fine on my PC.
It's just, like
Aaron's
it's
check didn't
crazy.
bounce.
Okay, shade all day. Oh, it's me. It's my fault.
You're just black flagged. You're just permanently
Okay,
flagged.
sorry. Keep going,
Also, what's that game you're playing? Battle whatever 5?
dude.
Say what?
Epic Battle Fantasy 5.
Sounds
Epic
like a
Fantasy
rip-off
Battle-
mobile
yeah,
game.
it does.
Yeah.
It's so good, guys. I
Yeah.
think I'm 40 hours into it
Yeah,
now.
yeah.
Let me-
and
let me
I
s-
can't stop. I
It's
love
a turn-based
You-
JRPG.
like you build your town and then you put guys on and you battle other towns.
And you got to pay money.
You got to pay money
so
to
your
get more
cooldowns
guys.
are way.
I'm
way
like
faster.
$10,000 deep already. No, that game sounds fun. And then but that's all my single player games, and that probably would take me through the 1 week, maybe, right? Doing all those.
Well,
maybe a
Outer
week.
Worlds, that's like 100 hours.
You think like
isn't
2
it?
weeks?
Outer Worlds. Outer Worlds.
No, we're talking
takes like
19 hour.
35, I
No, we're
think.
talking
Oh, is it?
19-hour
Oh, okay.
days. So that's
couple days.
that's 133 hours a week essentially of gaming.
Yeah.
So I think that would only take me about that'd take me about 2 weeks. I think I'd get
Yeah.
through about 2 weeks of this stream, and then the stuff to get me to the end of it. This is just the long stuff. FTL, Faster Than Light. I can't believe the first time I mentioned it, because this is my Dice of Destiny game, and I'll be reviewing it later. Incredible game. And a game that I put this last weekend 20 hours into, starting on Friday night. So it is a real bad addiction that I have. And I'm not joking. I'm absolutely not joking when I say, for $250,000, I would play nothing but FTL, Faster Than Light, for 540
you would
hours.
Go crazy.
540 hours of this
That's
game.
insane.
I would never stop playing it. It is in my head. And then finally, the one that I think could get me through the end of it the last couple weeks, Kerbal Space Program is a game that I've owned for a year. Never booted it because I felt like it was going to be one of those games that I needed to dedicate a lot of time to, learning all the stuff. This is a game, Kerbal Space Program, where it's kind of like a realistic physics type of base, and you are playing as Kerbals, which are these little creatures, these little aliens, and you're starting their space program.
Dude, it is so deceptive. Because you look at the cover, you're like, oh, it's a fun
cute.
little
It's a cute space sim.
game. No, you are running NASA.
Yep, and it's insanely difficult. You're doing the actual engineering, putting your rockets and where they need to go, engineering them properly,
Weight
putting them
and
on the launch
everything,
pad, and then watching them explode. And then you go back to the drawing board.
So difficult.
Sounds so hard. Everything I've ever seen about it, people are just like, it's a nightmare. It's an absolute nightmare to play.
The tutorial, you have to dedicate 3 hours just for the tutorial.
That's why I haven't started it, because I was like, I mean, even when I'm obsessed with the game, 3 hours is a considerable session for me. And I'm just like, no, I don't think I could do it. But if I had to do it, if I had all this time to fill, I might
you could
start with it.
Yeah.
I mean, I might lead with Kerbal Space Program because it's so crazy.
I don't have a PlayStation.
Yes.
So we bought one for Christmas. So don't tell my kids.
If they're listening, that's the least of their concerns.
So let's see.
The part
told them to
earlier
listen
in
to
the
this?
episode when we were talking about the three boobs in Total Recall, or the other
They've
part.
seen that. We watch Total Recall on Sunday afternoons.
Right
every
after
Sunday
church.
afternoon after church.
All right, guys,
We
sit
turn
down
on-
on the couch. We're booting it up.
Dude, that movie is, I have to put a little warning if you haven't seen it. Very violent. It's almost
So
comedic
violent.
because you can tell that they're
Yeah.
props getting, it's a prop head having
All
Arnold.
of the shots in the head are like...
Oh, they just explode. They're all flappy. There's a scene where Arnold is climbing his way, he's running away maybe, but then he runs into some bad guys, and he's running up an escalator, shoving everyone aside, and then the last poor soul that's in front of him, who is, mind you, I'm pretty sure not a bad guy. I didn't go back to
Just
double
a
check.
person.
He just grabs the last guy that's in his way and uses him as a human shield. This guy gets shot 20 times. Then he pushes this guy, he pushes his shield all the way up the escalator, gets to the top of the escalator, and then he turns around and throws his corpse down the escalator on top of all the other
Other
people
guys.
he just shoved out of the way and the bad guys. I would not continue chasing this man. This man clearly has zero
He is a
regard for human life
psychopath.
and is a complete sociopath. Leave Arnold alone.
Okay. Great aside. Guys, leave Arnold alone. Leave Arnold alone. Okay, so I would play a game that I've wanted to play forever, and I will play once we open up that PlayStation, The Last of Us. Have not played those. I would also play Control.
Last of
Oh.
Us would be so good for this. I feel like you would play Last of Us all the way through.
Well, and
And
it's,
Last
Control.
of Us
it's not,
is the
it's
type
not a
of game.
long game, right?
It's
And
20 hours at the max.
Yeah, I played it pretty quick, and then Control is probably 20, 25 hours.
Control, I would do that.
That's a great one.
And then
So you're halfway through your first week.
Yeah. No, these are games that I would just absolutely throw. Oh, also, there's a couple games that so many people have told me I should play. One is Persona 5, which I never had any interest in playing, but so many people said I would love it.
And 19-hour stream, perfect.
Perfect.
Persona
Yeah.
5 is perfect for
Persona 5 and Octopath Traveler.
that. Octodad?
Okay.
Octodad. I would master the impossible
Do
controls
not
of
play
Octodad.
Nobody play Octodad. You will
There's
all
a
regret
lot
it.
of hours in Octopath.
Yeah, I would play
that'd
Octopath.
That'd be a good one.
Ooh,
Because I haven't played that.
Any kind of tactics or RPG tactics kind of thing,
Yeah.
Japanese would be
The
perfect.
problem is often it depends on the game, but a lot of games get to a point when it's like too hard for me to beat like a level, and that's when I'll drop off, and that would be the real
But you
test.
just have to grind.
I'd be like, oh, do I need to finish this?
Well, yeah, and I think this would encourage, especially, it'd be great for RPG games where you have to grind.
Total
for sure.
War Warhammer 2 would be perfect
Ooh.
because the campaign alone, I put, I don't know, 30 hours into a campaign. I wasn't even close.
Dude, I'm kind of surprised you haven't mentioned Divinity, because you never finished Divinity.
I was so close to finishing.
Oh, you
it.
were? Because
Yeah.
I was thinking I would enjoy Divinity.
That would be amazing.
Yeah.
The first one?
Divinity Original Sin 2.
Because you could get through
two.
the first week on that, right?
Yeah,
There's
so
like
that-
100 hours in that game.
That was actually one of on my list because
Yeah.
I've started it quite a few times, and it's really hard to get through because you have to really investigate like how to actually go about whatever doing your objective. You gotta talk to a bunch of people.
a lot of talking, a lot of reading.
Yeah,
Which
so
if it's 11 p.m. at night and you're playing within your like limited gaming hours, reading
Yeah,
a game
that
is the
might be
last
hard.
thing I want to do. But if I'm
Yeah.
on a 19-hour stream, I would be really into that.
That game
Yeah, yeah.
is amazing, and I will say it. Did you ever make it off the island where you
No,
lose your
I never made
collar?
it past the
That's
first
when it
town,
opens up
yeah.
quite a bit.
okay.
So you have to get past that. First part's kind of grindy, but once you get past that, like your collar comes off, so you unlock your magic, and then it feels like the game has opened up. Like the tactics and the battle. Oh man, so good. I would play that again. I would play that for how many hours was it? 570?
572,
Oh my
yeah.
Never mind.
That
That's
is
too many
ridiculous.
hours.
Yeah, I'm trying to think. What is if you had one game? You're playing one game for 572 hours over 30 days. What is it?
500. You'd have to be a multiplayer game.
I've said mine.
I don't think you could do a
It's
single
either
player game.
no. I could do Age of Empires playing the stupid, ridiculous way I play it. Because sometimes my games are 6 hours, and it's just like mind numbing. It's just like, why is he doing this? If I was streaming, I would have 0 watchers. They'd be
Yeah.
like, "What a psychopath!
Why is he so slow?
Why isn't he doing anything?"
It would have to be.
Because I feel like WoW. Like if you wanted to play,
Oh,
World
that's
of
a good
Warcraft,
It'd have to
call.
be WoW.
Do classic
could.
WoW.
Oh,
Oh
yeah,
my
so
gosh.
then
Just
you'd
start
be like
a
level
new
16.
tune on
it'll take you
classic
500
WoW.
hours just to get to level 10.
Yeah. You just do a
Grinding
solo
so
run.
hard.
So many boars.
And everyone's
Yeah,
like,
all the
oh, look
boars.
at the noob. And you're like, guys, I played for 570
I
hours
know,
in
you
the
can't
last
call
month.
me a noob anymore.
You're a noob.
Yeah, we're on our 200,000th hour.
Yeah, dude. I guess if you played WoW, you could make even more money because you could just farm up characters and sell them.
League of Legends. I'd get back in.
Good
I'm just
night.
kidding. I would.
No,
Wow.
please don't.
I told you I tried to, and I hated it. I couldn't.
So one of my favorite games to play while I'm just like either watching Netflix series that I
Can
have.
you turn on? Yeah, that's the question. Can you turn on a
On
movie on the
side?
side while you play?
No.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh,
No.
So BattleTech, I put a lot of hours into BattleTech. I probably put
was just
130.
looking at that game.
Dude, it is so fun.
It's
so
on
fun.
sale right now.
So they just released the 3rd expansion. I forget what it's called. It's like Irons Warfare, something nonsense. But they put in like a bunch of brand new mechs, a bunch of new scenarios and maps, and it's so fun.
This is isn't it a turn-based strategy game?
turn-based tactical
with
strategy
mechs,
with
but you have mechs where you're
and
like
you can so you start off with 4 mechs, usually a couple medians and a couple lights, and you basically have to farm your mechs. You take different contracts. You're upgrading your ship that's carrying around your mechs, upgrading your mech warriors for different abilities, and you're basically just shooting down other mechs. And you can outfit your mechs however you want. You can put armor in different places of the body and put missiles or whatever.
so right now.
A game like that, yeah. I
Like,
just do that.
It's just modding. You're just modding your mechs.
non-stop.
Yeah,
You do
it's
that for
super
so
cool.
long.
No, I would just get out of the character creation in some game. Dude, I've spent like seriously 2-3 hours in character creation.
Oh yeah, no. Half the stream.
Yeah.
If I did played Skyrim, half of it would be. Oh,
I'm gonna make them
I
look
think I could
exactly
play
like
Skyrim
a-
with
some
all the
celebrity.
mods on and all the expansions on.
Ooh, there you go.
Oh my
300
gosh.
hours. I'm
yeah.
thinking like
It's
how
about
many.
At least half.
I
At
could
least half
probably
the
do
time.
Skyrim and Fallout 3, and I think I could do all of it
Yeah.
over those 2 games. Here's one for you. How much money do I need to give you personally to play League of Legends for 19 hours a day for 30 straight days?
Oh my gosh.
I think 250 would do it.
I mean, it's only like 6 league matches total, so
3 of which you've surrendered at the minimum required time.
I think I would do it realistically. I'd do that for $100,000.
Yeah, I would.
Oh, I didn't blink.
I'd do it for $50,000.
I was just gonna say, yeah. I'm like, how low would I go?
What if someone was like $10,000? All of your bills will be paid for the month.
I don't lose my job.
You don't lose your job. $10K.
No.
I don't think I would.
No.
either.
No
I'd
way.
be like, would you have
No.
to pay taxes on that $10K? Doesn't matter. I'm out.
I wouldn't take a $120,000 a year job if my job was 40 hours a week of league. I wouldn't do that.
Yeah.
No.
Money doesn't mean that much to me.
Real quick, BattleTech is on sale in the Steam sale right now for $13.50.
With the season pass, or
No, that's just the base game.
how much is the
The
season,
season pass bundle is $33.
So season pass gets you all 3 expansions that came out over the
So,
last year.
Yeah, they're all on. So Urban Warfare, Flashpoint, those are $10 each. Heavy Metal's 20.
Heavy metal, that's what it is.
Yeah. So anyways,
Yeah, good.
is that worth it?
Dude, it is so worth. It's worth paying full price for that game.
Okay, I'm gonna
it's
put
not
it on
even
my
Destiny
wish list right
started,
now.
yeah.
So.
Aaron, you didn't answer my question.
Yes.
What game could you play for a whole month?
BattleTech?
That's what you said. BattleTech.
Yeah,
Oh, okay.
like legit. Like I could do a ton of hours in that.
Oh.
So imagine that. So FTL,
Mm-hmm.
like however many hours that takes. Like you could do the same thing with BattleTech. You could just keep running the loop. Like just keep doing it, man. And you can do it on Iron Man mode, which is basically if someone dies, they die permanently.
Oh, okay.
And so you might get to a point where you just get stuck, but then you just
Dude.
yeah.
Okay.
Yeah,
Okay.
do
So
it.
I have another grab bag question now.
Let's
If,
do
it.
if you guys, is that? Do you guys
set.
have any other?
Nope.
Okay. My other grab bag. I don't know where both these ideas came from. This one is if someone from 1996 woke up from a coma today. I thought about doing 1990 because it would fit the whole.
96 seems very specific.
96. I was thinking GoldenEye. So it is.
Oh, okay.
007.
That's when it came out?
N64 came out in 1997. August of 97.
Oh,
okay.
So this is pre-GoldenEye, but GoldenEye is
So these are the games
possible?
that came out in '96:
Okay.
Super Mario 64,
Okay.
Duke Nukem 3D, Resident Evil, Quake, Diablo, Tomb Raider.
I just
Crash
knew
Bandicoot.
so we're
that
saying they would
96 was a
be-
good year.
So they would be familiar with those titles, and then what would you?
Yeah, because
say?
I don't think like GoldenEye was awesome because of the multiplayer aspect, but in terms of graphics and what it could do, wasn't necessarily revolutionary.
No.
This also predates. Well, I'll get into that. So it predates like Half-Life, for example. So
Oh, sure.
there are some that but we could push it back to like 92. I just thought 96 was good because you have the N64, so you're kind of opening your eyes to what
Let's
3D
compromise.
games
Let's
can
compromise.
do.
It's 1994 June, halfway through the year.
What?
That is,
That's
that
what
is
they-
No,
really
I
why?
like 96 because it's got the N64 out.
He's like 96 or 92. I don't know.
No, let's do 96 like I said originally. So someone from
February of
1996,
1994.
they go down, they know that GoldenEye's coming out. They read about it in Game Informer magazine or PC Mag. They know that game's coming out, but then they fall into a coma in 1996
Oh man.
and they just woke up today. What games are you showing this person?
and they're open to any genre.
How old were they in 1996?
Wow, this is
16?
deep.
Oh,
Okay.
if they were like 5 years old.
Yeah, no, they're 16, so
Okay.
they'd seen a lot of the games coming
Okay,
up.
and they were
Sure.
like into games,
But they didn't necessarily need to play
Yeah.
Pong, when it came out, but they do know what Pong is. So
Got
yeah,
it.
they were like 16. So to your question,
So that was me. If this was me, that was me. I was 16.
Yeah, so essentially you, yeah.
I'm not kidding.
Okay,
I was 16.
okay.
Aaron just laughed.
Wait,
oh my
so
god,
I
the
go.
shade is
I
so.
16-year-old.
You told Aaron your
Peterson.
real age, and he just straight up fucking laughed
He
at
just
you.
laughed.
Like his instinct was that is comedic.
Oh man.
God, dude, Aaron's mean today.
This is a positive
Aaron
podcast.
is not that much younger than I am.
I am way younger than you are.
Like 2 years.
You're like 50, man. If people have never seen the stream or anything, like
They would be shocked.
Peterson's
You know
just
when
an
Creed
old
from The
man.
Office dyes
Yeah.
his hair black and
Gotta ride the bull.
That's me.
That's you. Later, skater.
Really old guy.
he dyes his beard. I swear.
Yeah, so this person's played games, but to
Okay.
Aaron's
Yes.
question,
Okay.
it's any
Got
genre
it.
of game, but you've got to consider
Okay.
the what they were playing, because they were playing like games, for example, like Mega Man, which were punishingly difficult, but also
Mario 64.
I think a game like Fortnite would be wholly overwhelming.
Okay, so what would you do?
So
what's your strategy
dude?
here?
Here's my strategy: is we go by genre. So I've got first person shooters, because that was kind of the rage that was coming out.
Yep.
I've got co-op games, because I think co-op games have kind of been revolutionized from where we came. And then I've got kind of artsy games and some others. So if you want, pick one of those, and I'll walk you through.
First person shooter.
So I got to do these in order, because I want them to experience these in order how they came out. So you start them with Half-Life 1. Start them right off. First thing I do is I put Half-Life 1 in front of this person. So that's 3-4 years.
So you start with the
advanced.
oldest and slowly. Okay.
Yeah,
gotcha.
because otherwise they don't want to go back and see that crap.
Yeah, their mind would be blown with the new stuff.
Exactly. So I would start with Half-Life 1, and then they're like, wow, that was really great. And then show them Half-Life 2. And they're going to be like, wait, what? And then after they beat Half-Life 2 and they're like, this is incredible, we're sitting down and playing the entire Halo trilogy. And playing it in co-op, because I think that'll just be revolutionary. I also want to play Call of Duty 2 and 4, just the multiplayer.
Yeah, okay.
Possibly the story in Call of Duty 4, but at this point, like, that's not really that novel.
Because they played GoldenEye multiplayer.
Yeah, exactly. And then BioShock 1 and 2 to kind of show them, because like Doom, it'll kind of they'll be like,
sure.
This is what Doom has become, essentially. And then finally the big one, and this is kind of, it's definitely, this is what I'd want to cap off first-person shooters with, because then I'd want them to be like, wait, what? I'd go with Fallout 3.
Okay.
Because
nice, yes.
Now they're getting the RPG that they had experienced in JRPGs, possibly in other games, but it's this fully rendered 3D world, and it looks just like DC. And I was blown away by Fallout 3, and I played it 2 years after it came out.
So Fallout 3, not Fallout 4? You just go only
no,
3?
just 3, because once you get into 4, like, it's not, 4 wasn't revolutionary necessarily.
Sure.
These are games that blew me the fuck away.
Oh, sure.
And so
Yeah,
I just want to sit down and I feel like even within the context of having played Half-Life, Halo, Call of Duty, and BioShock, I put Fallout 3 in front of this person, and they're like, oh, I've seen it all. And then they're like, holy shit, I've seen nothing. Because Fallout 3, what's unique about it is the first-person shooter aspect just sucks. Like, the shooting sucks, and you have to use VATS. Mm-hmm. And so you're basically showing and forcing them, like, this is actually, like, not all first-person shooters are what I've just showed you. They can be vastly different. Because then you can get into Portal, then you can get into, these other games that are just, like, way, way out there. So that's what I do for first-person shooters.
Man, that was deep.
I think there are.
That was just one genre.
There was just. What do you guys? I want to hear someone else's.
I have a completely different methodology here.
Okay.
So you're starting with what they missed.
Mm-hmm.
I'm thinking
you just
of
want to blow their minds right from the start.
I'm thinking of it.
Yeah.
This is somebody.
2019 games only.
If I had been frozen and if I was frozen right now,
you don't want to play the old shit.
Came back in how many years is that?
2045.
2045. I would not want to go back and play all of it. I would say, show me what you got.
Show me what you got.
I would say, show me what you got. So I would immediately put a headset on this person and put them in like the League of Legends chat. No, I wouldn't do that. No, I wouldn't do that.
You don't actually play this game, son. You just listen.
You just get berated.
Yeah, you don't.
No, so I would start them in the coolest things of right now. I would put them in a game.
You think they could keep up and
when
play
I was
and enjoy?
A kid, yes.
Okay.
Because when I was a kid, all I wanted was games to look real.
Yeah.
I would play video games and be like, man, what if video games were like playing a movie? What if it was
God of War?
Yes. I would put them in most graphically beautiful games I could find and say, look at this. And then I would strap a VR headset on them and say, now do this. Because back in 96, we were seeing these like, I grew up in Vegas, and so like we'd go wait in line at a movie theater at a casino or something, and someone would be demoing VR tech, where you're kind of strapped in and they put this huge helmet on you and give you this big gun, and you're like walking on a treadmill thing and shooting stuff. And I was like, that's cool. No, put them in a VR game and let them play that. Then, last thing, I hand them a mobile phone and I say, and all of this, right? You have all the power for like so many, all the games you missed. You can essentially play that on your mobile device.
Oh.
And say all of this stuff. And I would open up the store because they didn't have the internet.
Just put an
really
emulator
then.
on an Android
and just he's looking at this device. This is the future, right? I would throw them into the future and blow their freaking minds. I would be like, look, you can go back and play the greats. Here's a list of the greats if you want to. But look what we have right now. These are incredible.
His eyes would just melt.
Yeah.
It'd be amazing.
Yeah, it would be,
Yeah.
and that's what I would do. I would just sink them so deep into the best stuff of now.
This is I don't know.
That's what I would do. Well, because then I need to show them the whole Lord of the Rings trilogy.
This
We
is
don't
like
have
a
time.
This is like
I need to show them. We need to cover Harry Potter. They know nothing.
I think you're going to
Guys.
burn through everything if you do that, though. Like you're gonna burn through all the new games, and then they're gonna be like, oh, and then you're gonna
Their
spend the
life
rest of
doesn't
their life.
end. Then they are where we are now, but their back catalog is like disgustingly big.
Yeah, I want to go through the greatest hits of the back catalog.
No, I don't want to do greatest hits. They
and
don't care.
experience that with them.
My kids don't
I
want to
wanna
play
watch
greatest
that.
hits. And that's like a kid now. Like they don't want
No,
to go back
they
and
don't
play
have
those
the
games.
Your kids don't have the same context of having grown up.
Right. But like they don't want to go back. Like I don't think they would want to go back. They would see,
I would if this were
I'd be sitting
me.
there
You say,
playing an
okay, so
awesome
I
game.
wake up in 2045 and I want to be like, I want to see what I missed.
I'd be like, okay, JD, here's all the cars. You got to stay on the ground, but look, we're all flying around up there because there's going to be fun cars, right?
But your kids have only
wanna
known
appreciate
the
it.
best.
Right.
They've only known the best. This kid
Right.
at 16 has
He
experienced.
can skip all the stuff.
but
Skip
he-
that whole evolution.
He has experienced all that
What
old
joy
stuff.
does he get from skipping
So-
things?
Because it's so much better now. His mind would be blown.
That's like saying the last book of Harry Potter was the best, so fuck the other ones.
No,
Forget
no.
them.
That's a story. They don't need a video game story.
JD thinks he needs a story.
I think I want
No,
a
they
story.
don't need the evolution.
I want a story.
When I was 16, I would have, if I would have seen the tech that we have now, I would have said, "Oh yeah, I just want that." I would have just gone straight to that instead of working up to it, right? So this is, I wouldn't make them. I would give them the option. Hey, here's all the games. They're all backwards compatible on your PlayStation 5, right? You can play them if you want, but look, these games coming out now are incredible.
So my coma patient comes out of their rehab after about 12 months
With
and
a
they're
VR
feeling
headset on.
refreshed. They're feeling as if they've gotten a well-rounded education and that they understand the current landscape of the video game world
Yeah.
that they're walking out into. Yours come out so just disabled,
Guns
like
blazing.
they don't know half of the stuff that they should know. To understand like why video games are what they are.
Oh,
They've never
and
heard of Half-Life.
I'd be like-
your guys have literally never heard of the game.
You don't need to hear of Half-Life. I would say, listen,
Unbelievable.
You are
unbelievable.
I,
So
look,
your
I
guys,
love Half-Life.
this is your guy comes out and he's just drooling because he spent the last 12 months playing nothing but Fortnite, and that's what he thinks all video
'Cause, like-
games are now.
That's what all video games are. I would say, first off, whatever you're playing your game on is connected to the internet. Remember hearing about the internet? Because that was when you were first starting to hear about it. It's all connected. You think you had fun playing Mario Kart with your 3 buddies? You are playing with 100 people right now. Dude,
yours
and
sounds
blow
like
their
one of those twisted
minds.
Soviet mind experiments that they just like didn't have ethics.
Just have like flashing strobe lights.
Yeah,
just
let's see.
kinda-
Well, yeah,
let's
your
test
guys.
this out.
Yeah, is going to go back into a coma because he's going to play so much Fortnite. Some other.
No, screw that.
Aaron, what about you? What would
Okay,
you show?
so I like
Fortnite.
JD's methodology of
Just fuck
showing the
Fortnite.
greats, but I also do want to blow his mind also.
Mm-hmm.
So I think I was just thinking about his genre. So Star Wars. Show him all the cool Star Wars games that he's missed from '96.
So
you have
two.
Knights of the Old
It's
Republic.
like, actually, you
Knights
had
of
the
the
best
Republic
Star Wars
2, and then you just go straight to Jedi.
Straight to
Fallen Order.
Jedi Fallen Order.
There's some other stuff in there.
Don't
Do
worry
not
about
worry
it.
about
Oh,
this.
there were also some movies that came out.
Hey, just
don't- you
FYI,
can skip those.
Disney owns everything now.
Skip those.
Just
Disney owns the
Disney,
world.
the Sword and the Stone guys.
Yeah, no.
Disney.
Disney.
Sword in the.
Like
I just watched that the other day. 'cause
The
I was
last
like,
movie this
I
guy saw
loved
was The
this when I
Black
was little.
Cauldron. He's like, I don't have like a real shining view of what Disney's going to become.
Gross. So, but then I think I would just blow his mind with God of War.
Yeah, God of War is a
Like,
really good one.
That
That
blew my mind
incredible.
a year ago.
yeah,
too.
that's what I was thinking. Is games that have blown my mind recently.
Yes,
Those are the ones. That,
but I think Half-Life 2 is a necessity to play, and then just go into
It is a
like
great game.
Go into Fallout 3 if that's the jam. I would say Fallout 4 because that was my jam. I played Fallout 3, but I got more into Fallout 4 for whatever reason than 3. But yeah, and then you have Zelda Breath of the Wild because
he knows Zelda.
from 96, like they would basically just top down NES, right?
well,
Or
no, 96.
SNES.
When did Ocarina of Time?
Is that
Well, here's the
thought it
thing,
was
though.
like
You need to
98 or
understand.
something.
96 was
Yeah, it was
Mario
98.
Kart or Super Mario 64. So that was the first time you were seeing that like 3D behind the guy, go wherever you want type of thing.
Yeah.
You hand him Breath of the Wild. I mean, he's just going to stare at it like, what is this? This is amazing. Because that's what we did with Mario 64. He's going to love it.
That's what I do with Breath of the Wild. I was like, wow. This
His
is so
favorite
amazing.
movie that just came out is Mission Impossible or Independence Day.
It's definitely Independence Day. Let's be real.
Yeah.
He's probably an idiot. He probably likes like, let's see, what else is here? Romeo and Juliet.
Oh
With
yeah, the
Leo.
Baz Luhrmann one.
Space Jam.
Wow, 96 was a up and down year. How about this one? Well, I thought this one would just like blow someone's absolute gourd. No Man's Sky.
They wouldn't know what to do. I think
You explain it conceptually, and then they're like, "No," and I'm like, "No,
No,
really?"
they know.
jumping to world.
I think that would be a good one. I think that would be a good one because it's not graphically too intense.
Is it kind of linear? Kind of walks you through?
No.
Not at all.
No, it would be one of those
Oh,
games where
no.
you start to like explore and push boundaries and realize there are literally no boundaries.
Oh,
that
sure.
you could like. I think a 1996 person.
He's playing PC games, mind you, with both hands on the keyboard still.
No, I don't think this person would get off their first planet. They'd
Both
spend.
hands on the
They would
keyboard.
build an entire civilization
Hubert.
on the first planet, and then they'd be like, "Wait, there's other planets?"
Hop in that ship.
Just
Go
just
up.
hop in the ship and do anything
go
you
up.
want, up, down, left, right, wherever. So yeah, I think
I don't
No
think
Man's
they
Sky
would be able to
amazing.
handle it.
And then the last one,
they could handle it.
I wanted to go. Oh, here are some that are out for me that I wouldn't show them. No bullet hells.
No.
Ever.
No.
I think they could ease that into that or find that on their own. I would never like you show Risk of Rain 2 to someone from 1996 and they're like
There's so
their
many
brain
things
just
happening.
melts. Their brain melts because
Yeah.
there's no way that any console could even possibly hope to render something like that. So the concept of it would not compute back then.
Sure.
Fortnite, I was saying, was out. Tower defense, literally anything where there's a lot going on the screen, out for me. I think that
They
would
get
you'd
in real
lose 'em.
quickly though.
So-
They get in real quick.
When did well, I mean, the like RTSs when did StarCraft come out? StarCraft.
Oh, that was pre 96.
Pre-96?
Warcraft and
Yeah.
I don't know when StarCraft was.
So I guess
but
there
I
were
played
kind of
those
mobby
before I
things.
was a
Yeah.
teenager.
So
Yeah.
maybe I'm a little
They can
early
handle
on
a
that.
bunch of.
And then finally, the last thing that I thought would be cool is showing them artsy games, just showing them the indie games and because those were not really a thing. I think for a long time until like there were outlets for indie
Well, you
studios.
couldn't just make a game
Right.
and publish it. You needed a cartridge.
Yeah,
and
so
you needed,
until
Yeah,
Steam,
some
until
kind of
like
distribution.
XBLA. So a few that I'd show them, Flow, that was the first game that was by the studio that made Journey. That game company made one called Flow, where you just use the PlayStation 4 X-axis controller, which you essentially use it like, when your mom plays Mario Kart and she turns the whole controller.
Yeah.
That's how you use it, and you're essentially just a flower flying over a field, and you just like kind of move where your flower goes. So I think that would trip people out because of the controls themselves, realizing that the controller does that. And then, of course, show them Journey. And then I would really, 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 really love to show someone from 1996 Ori. Because Ori would compute for them, because they'd had Super Metroid by this point, so they understand a Metroidvania game. They understand the graphics, but Ori would blow their minds graphically because it
looks so good.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then the soundtrack, because old games did have good soundtracks, but Ori's soundtrack is beyond good. It's something else entirely, and I think that would be really fun, because that might be one of the first games I had them play to just kind of ease them into it. Like, we still, I mean, it's really like we came back around to 2D and realized that we're not done yet. We're not done with TD.
The latest Doom game, put them in it.
Oh yeah,
So much shooting.
just all the remakes. Just start them with
looks so real.
Duke Nukem Forever, I believe, was announced, and so show them Duke Nukem Forever that came out in
Actually
30 years
show
later.
them something really gruesome, like have them play
Gears of War, Chainsaw, Extra Blood.
Yeah, and because they are not desensitized. If you think about what TV shows back then were to what, like, we're watching Game of Thrones and we're like, yeah, whatever, like,
yeah,
that was
fine. You
cool.
just got skull capped, whatever.
Oh, that's really cool. No, they would they would be traumatized. They're like, I can't see this.
For sure.
I would do it.
Yeah. Okay.
Wreck their
Wait,
mind.
do I know this person or is it just some rando?
Let's just
Like, I don't love
because
this
then you don't have
person,
an
right?
emotion. No, you don't have an emotional investment.
I feel like I would immediately become very invested in them, though.
Yeah, but this isn't like my best friend or something.
No, it's your best friend. You should have been treating him like your best friend.
Okay, sure.
Why would you not? Why would you not in this situation?
Best friends I'm meaner to. Oh, this is my buddy from when I was 16?
Never mind. So it's
F that guy.
It's Aaron and my best friend. It's a total stranger to you, maybe a child.
Oh, okay.
Because that's the only way we
Super
can get
nice.
empathy out of Peterson.
Yeah.
A stranger's
Children.
child, not his own children. Okay, let's move on.
That is a stranger's
A
child.
stranger's child.
I love this kid.
This kid's great. My own kids.
Oh, those little bastards. They're going to kill me one day.
If you don't kill him first. Okay, so the only person who's been playing, we mentioned already, Jedi Fallen Order. This is the latest single-player Star Wars
I'll
title.
get to it, okay, everybody? Chill.
I know. I almost went out and bought
I'll
it this
get
weekend.
to it.
The reason I didn't buy it is because I started playing my Dice of Destiny game, and then I didn't buy it because I'm never going to stop playing it. But so Aaron has started playing Jedi Fallen Order. Are you through it?
Yes. So
you
I
beat it.
I finished it last night after.
Because originally we're like, we'll have Aaron do his first impressions,
Oh my god, the first impression rose.
but this isn't your first impressions. this is a
not
full
your
review.
first impression.
no,
Which is a bummer because I really worked hard to get that sound clip on the
Oh,
board.
we'll play it so many times.
Oh my god, the first impression rose.
I watched hours of Bachelor clips to find
just
the right clip.
You would be
Perfect.
surprised at how hard it was to find a good clip of them saying first impression rose.
It's something.
It's part of my lexicon
It's
now.
so
but to
wild.
get them
I
to
think
say
what's
it,
so crazy is that everything has to have a proper name in The Bachelor and The Bachelorette. So there's oh my god, I'm so sorry. This is when our podcast really suffers for not having Spencer on because no one's going to stop me for getting a little deep into some Bachelor.
Wait, are we talking
Okay,
Bachelor?
okay.
No, really quick. There's this concept in The
this
Bachelor
moving.
that when you get to the last final 3 or whatever, you get to go back to the Bachelor or the Bachelorette goes back to your hometown,
Hometowns.
So ridiculous.
and they visit with your family.
He made it to hometowns.
It's called hometowns. They call it and they say it dead seriously, like, "Oh, we have this for hometowns.
Next week is hometown.
Next week is hometowns." Or this is it's a really big deal
stupid.
that we have hometowns. And I'm sitting there thinking, like, what the fuck? That's so weird. Why do they need to call them hometowns? Why don't you just say next week I'm going to go meet
We're gonna go
everyone's
visit-
families. We're going to go see everyone's families.
We're gonna
Family
go
ta-
visit
family
their
town.
hometown.
Next
Hometowns.
week we're going to go to I'm going to go to everyone's hometown and meet them, but they have to call it hometowns.
hometowns.
And the other one is once you get to the final 2, maybe is it the final 2? You go to the fantasy suite, which is a really nice way of saying you get a fuck. It's so weird, and
You
it's like
finally
they say
get
things,
off
and you have to
camera.
replace fantasy suite with have sex every time they have a conversation because it's so silly. They're like,
we're gonna go to the fantasy suite. Wink, wink.
Yeah, I just think it's really important. The fantasy suite is so important. The fantasy suite means so much to me. And you're like,
I'm saving myself for the fantasy suite. Okay.
Having sex matters so much to me. It means so much to me. And this week, we're going to have sex. And it's just like, it's so weird. I'm sorry.
It should call it the Bone Zone.
The Bone Zone.
Let's edit next season. Every time they say fantasy suite, let's edit in Bone Zone.
And what do we edit hometowns to be?
I don't know.
Something less just asinine?
Okay, sorry. Aaron
we're going to cut all that out.
Hi, my name's Aaron.
Aaron is here today, and he is playing Star Wars Jedi
Yes.
Fallen Order.
That is correct. So Jedi Fallen Order is a EA release game by
Respawn?
Is it Respawn Entertainment? Yeah.
Respawn did it. Okay, so quick and down, it's awesome. I liked it quite a bit. So there you go. So the story is
there. It is.
You're playing.
This is the official review. He really liked it.
Oh my god, the first impression rose.
That's a really good clip. I like that. So if you have ever seen Shameless, it's the redhead kid that's on Shameless. He plays the main character. And they did actually a pretty good job because I was watching some behind the scenes. They put all the dots. They do the motion capture stuff. So they got his likeness really well and all the other actors really well. Obviously, except the aliens, right? So
wait, who played the aliens?
I don't know, some other dudes. That's not important.
It wasn't aliens playing themselves?
No, sorry. Yeah, maybe in 2045 or whatever.
When the aliens come.
After you wake up from your coma that I'm going to...
Dude, if I woke up from a coma and aliens were here...
Wouldn't that be so awesome?
What?
That would blow your mind.
What? Finally it happened?
So you're playing as this kid. His name is Cal Kestis. He was a Padawan during Order 66. And so then it's 5 years later...
And Anakin didn't get him.
Anakin did not get him.
He wasn't that one little kid in the movie. Master, what do we do next?
You die.
You die
now. So you play him 5 years later. He's on this scrapyard. It's really cool because it opens up this shot where it's a bunch of destroyed Clone War ships that they're actually scrapping to make. Obviously, like the Star Destroyer.
Star.
No, just
Star.
Just other Imperial ships that they need because they need to upgrade or whatever, and they just need to scrap all the old stuff. Because obviously, you don't see any of the Clone Wars ships in 4, 5, 6,
that
right?
makes sense.
Dude, what a wild
they
galaxy!
gotta scrap them.
Like every 5 years or so, they're like, "Guys, new model came out.
Yeah,
scrap all the old models. We need parts to build the new one."
If I pull up to this planet. Rocking last year's Rebel Alliance ship. Oh my god! I'll never hear the end of it.
They just occupy a new planet, and then you got your own slave labor for the next.
They
20
finish
starships.
it up. They finish making the new one. They fly it around for 6 months, and then they're like, "Guys, new model came out.
Did you know that
Gotta
your
go
bleep
scrap
blurb
this
halves
bad
in
boy.
value the second you pull it out of the port?"
Anyway,
It takes them 20 years to make, and they're just like, "Oh, there's a new one came out."
new one,
Dang
guys.
it.
Scrap the old stuff.
Halfway through it.
Just crash it over there anywhere. Just crash it into the planet anywhere. It's fine.
So the story
There's
goes.
so many planets, you guys. Just crash it on one of them. It doesn't matter.
Well, it's like when they have breaker yards for big like cargo ships. They run them aground and try to break them up as much as possible, and then they cut them out. You just save all that time. Just crash your fucking spaceship right next to the breaker yard. You don't need to break it. It's already broken. Just pick it up.
Okay. Sorry, Jedi Fallen Order.
So yeah, 5 years after the purge, they refer to it as a purge. You're on this planet. You're
nice
trying to hide yourself from the Empire. So nobody knows that he's actually has Jedi powers. He is a Padawan, so he's technically not a Jedi yet.
But he's got them powers.
But events unfold, and he has to use his powers. And so the next scene is his train is stopped, and then you get introduced to the second sister and the ninth sister. So these are inquisitors that the Empire has trained, usually by Darth Vader has trained these in the ways of the Force to use lightsabers and stuff like that, and they
To hunt you down.
to hunt younglings, Jedi, whoever down.
Yeah.
So that's their whole mission in life, is to kill all the other Jedis,
Smart.
or to enslave them to become more
Bad guys.
Inquisitors. So
Makes sense.
yeah, exactly. So then it kind of goes from there. He finds purpose in trying to start reignite the Jedi Order. So you're trying to do those. You're bouncing from planet to planet, and over the course of the game, you'll unlock new Force abilities. It's a really cool scene where he's trying to figure out how to do a puzzle. It's a very puzzly game. Excuse me. Sorry, I did go through puberty. And
Lucky.
What was that like?
and he recalls his Jedi training with his master, and his master is, if you've ever seen Star Wars Rebels, that was on the cartoon, the alien species that Zeb was on there is the same species as his master. So it's really cool seeing the cartoon kind of play into the video game a little bit, and great voice acting from him. And so he's teaching him the Force ability, so he's kind of recalling on his back memories of, yes, I haven't used this in 5 years. This is how I remember doing it. So you get the downside is that you don't get a whole lot of abilities, but I never felt like I didn't have enough Force abilities.
I was gonna say, you're a Padawan. It would be weird if you were just like a master by the end of it.
Yeah, exactly. So it's very limited. Like story wise, you have to be limited. So you get Force push, pull. You can do like a double jump. You can throw your lightsaber, which is cool, but that's a little bit unlocks a little bit later. And
I mean,
I think there's just one other.
I kind of like that, because I felt like it was these games where it's like you have to pick up a guy and then throw your lightsaber into him and then throw him and pull your lightsaber back. It's like at a certain point I'm like,
Yeah,
maybe I don't want to be a Jedi.
Is
It's so complicated.
Are they using blasters at all, or is it just lightsaber combat?
like you yourself, you're just using a lightsaber.
Nice.
You do not pick up a blaster.
Can you?
You can
do
deflect them. You can deflect them. You have to time it. So you can either just block and it'll just block all incoming damage, but you're not deflecting it. You have to actually time to deflect the bullets
Back to them?
back to them and kill them.
Nice.
It is a hard game. People have said this is equivalent to like a Dark Souls game. Dark Souls light. Like it's not as, because Dark Souls is just effing insane, right? So it has a little bit of the Dark Souls elements where you actually are meditating or doing the campfire in certain areas to save your progress. And then if you rest and heal all the way full, enemies will respawn. So you do have to make sure that you're not resting all the time because enemies will just keep respawning.
Right.
It is a hard game. I wanted to get through it, so I bumped the difficulty down from normal to easy.
My boy.
Because normal was so
You
difficult.
went from normal to Peterson.
Peterson
yes.
mode?
I put it on Peterson.
The difference between Peterson mode and normal, well, they call it Jedi
I
Knight.
don't know if I like this. Wait, I am not the normal.
So
You know, normal
you're below
people?
normal.
Yeah. There's normal
it's
people
fine.
take like 5 steps down. That's Peterson.
So I was dying at least like once every fight. I felt like I bumped it down to Peterson mode, and I never died again.
Yeah.
Smart.
That's nice.
So, but I got through the story. The story is probably one of the best things I've ever seen in a
Love a good story.
since Knights of the Old Republic.
Love
It is
so
so
much.
good. If you ever watched the Clone Wars TV show, there's scenes in here will just blow your mind where you're just like, it'll take you back and you're like, I remember this in the episode.
oh my god.
And I want
So this is
to
very
explore.
canonical, because I feel like
Yes.
that's
Oh, yeah.
a lot of
This is canon.
very few of the
Yes.
Star Wars games that we've seen come out make an effort to fit within the film universe or ever. I mean, it's hard to say because they just barely put down the hammer and said,
Well, yeah, but
this
like
is what's
Knights of the Old
canon, this what
Republic
isn't.
was like so far.
They were making their own
so far back,
stuff,
right? They could just
so to
do
see
whatever they
stuff that's
wanted.
like reflected on screen is just so tight.
That's
Yeah.
awesome.
Yeah, definitely. So if you were a fan of the cartoon series, and Rebels, because that's when they introduced the Inquisitors, was in Rebels, so that's a huge part in this.
Oh, tight.
Like, it's a main storyline for the Inquisitors in this game. Dang. So it's really good. And so the more abilities that you unlock, you'll actually have to go back to planets, because you could not pass an obstacle because you did not have the required force ability, like double jump or push or pull kind of thing. So you have to go back to those.
It's kind of like that Metroid-y.
Yeah, a little bit of Metroid-y, yeah.
Cool.
Yeah, the world is really cool. The graphics are amazing. So I picked this up on Origin's Premier Games Pass for $15 a month. And
gotcha.
Pick it up, play it, cancel your subscription.
Yes,
$15.
Because so after beating the game, the only reason why I would replay it is increase the difficulty and to challenge myself. But Peterson's like shaking his head. No,
day.
So there are unlocks that you can get. Like you can unlock skins for your lightsaber, but you can't even see your lightsaber when you're playing the game.
No.
So that makes no sense whatsoever. You can get like different ponchos you can put on, so it's different skins,
different shades of brown.
Oh, you have this cute little droid called BD1, and he is so awesome. So
they all are.
Yes,
they do.
So you can do
well.
you can do different skins for him, which is kind of cool. And he gets different abilities, like he can hack probe droids, and he sings like Star Wars like theme music while he does it. It's pretty awesome. Yes.
I think it's funny you mentioned that you can't even see your lightsaber, because now I'm realizing that the Force Unleashed, they made like a distinct lightsaber style for the main character in that game, because he holds it behind his back.
Oh, right.
And I'm realizing now that game, more than any other Star Wars game, was perfectly set up for microtransactions. Because you have your lightsaber on display, even though you're seeing the backside of your character the whole time.
That's a good point.
And I had a black lightsaber with an unstable crystal, which I swear to God, this game invented the concept of what it would look like to have an unstable Kyber crystal, which is the little crystal
Get
inside.
It right.
It's a Kyber crystal.
No, dude, Peterson just looked at me like I said the stupidest
so
shit.
hard.
I'm shocked.
You're not a Star Wars fan.
You're not a real fan.
A Kyber crystal?
I'm so sorry. But yeah, the idea that, Kylo Ren's lightsaber, that how it's like sparkling and crackling, that was in Force Unleashed, and I swear to God that was the first like portrayal of it in media. But that was like, so I had an unstable black lightsaber. It was the coolest shit. That's something someone would pay $5 to see.
Oh,
the
for
whole
sure.
Game.
Yeah.
So basically, you paid $16 for this.
Yes.
Would you say so? Our rating scale is buy at any price, buy on sale, or wait for a sale, or don't buy it at all. $60.
I would wait for a sale.
Okay,
because
$16.
It'll go on
$16 is a
Easy.
no-brainer. Because I spent the better part of my days playing this game over.
Well, now I'm thinking
break.
that's easy. What I'll do is just do the $16.
Yeah, just
for
do
a month, because
one
there's
and
no
done.
way you're gonna play it for longer than a month. You're gonna grind through it.
Because like the other skins, to go back and get those unlocks, it's just nonsense. Like, it doesn't make any sense to me. Because I'm not getting any new storyline or anything else. It's just
how many hours did it take you to beat?
I didn't check. Probably 16 to 20 hours.
Oh, then definitely, yeah.
I want.
But that's on easy mode.
That's what
if
I've
you're playing
heard,
on
though.
normal. It's
I've heard
a
it
little bit
takes
more.
like 15 to 20
Okay.
to just like bust through the game.
Yeah. Oh my gosh, dude, the ending is so amazing. I just
my
want
God.
to
say
play
it.
through the ending.
Don't say it.
And I will spoil it for everybody,
Dude,
and the ending.
Here's
I feel
how
like-
it ends.
I feel like
Luke
every
Skywalker. Wait,
I feel like every Star Wars game that I played that had lightsabers in it was notably difficult. I feel like Force Unleashed was regular difficulty, but once you set it up to just hard, not hardest, and then there was one past hardest, but once you set it up to hard, like, forget it. It was painful, and then I died
Jedi
all the time
Academy
on checkpoints.
was pretty
and Jedi
hard.
Academy was very difficult, especially those guys. Remember those big?
there were some levels
They were like
that
purple. They were like giant purple stormtrooper guys. There's pulse troopers or something.
Purple troopies, perpy troopies,
It's gonna drive
storm
me nuts.
perpies.
Store purpose.
What were they called? No, I don't know.
I just
Hazard Troopers. They were Hazard Troopers.
Herbaria-
That sounds ridiculous.
And they were just those huge guys, and they would grab you and throw you to the ground.
so there's the K2SO like droid or whatever in that one movie, Rogue One. Mm-hmm. They're in this game and they freaking choke slam you. It is
Yeah,
it is
when
rough.
there's like a grapple in a Star Wars game, like, oh my god, it's so annoying. So yeah, I feel like that fits.
Yep.
Like a hard Star Wars game, that's normal.
Yeah. So and there's 2 other hard difficulties above the normal.
Ugh.
So it just sounds so
that.
punishing.
Yeah.
Yeah. But it's awesome.
Cool. So that is wait for sale or get it on Origins.
Dice of Destiny.
Oh my god, we finally made it. This is all I've wanted to talk about this whole week.
JD's like, shut up, you guys.
All I want to talk about is my Dice of Destiny game. So Dice of Destiny is this game we play where we roll a 20-sided dice. We have 20 genres assigned to it. We roll a 6-sided dice to see how much we can spend on it. Then finally we roll to see who has to find a game in that genre for that price, play it, and review it. If you guys ever want to play with us, you can go to 3bitgamershow.com/dice. We have this all digitized, so you don't even have to bring your own dice. You just press the button, a big green button at the top of the page. It'll tell you a genre, and it'll tell you the price you can pay. And if you want to see all the past Dice of Destiny games we've ever played, along with our reviews, buy at any price, wait for a sale, or don't buy, you can just scroll down on that page at 3bitgamershow.com/dice and see what we played, see what we liked. I did it. That I have nightmares that start with me just reciting that little bit.
He wasn't even reading it, you guys.
Yeah,
He was
I
just
know I don't read those.
saying
And
that
I just
from his head.
I just like stare at a wall and just like go
I
through
just
like
couldn't
a
stop
fucking
thinking
robot.
about Kuber crystals.
This guy.
Golly.
This guy. I don't think you've ever been more judgmental of me in my entire fucking life than when I said Cooler
It's
crystals.
top 5.
Do you even game, bro?
I apparently don't game enough to know that they're not called Kuber crystals.
Are you looking up Kuber crystals
No,
right now?
just writing it down. Okay, so last week, 2 weeks ago, I rolled a what was it? A 2D game, a 2D shooty, a 2D game, and thank God instead of doing side-scrolling 2D, I did top-down 2D, and I found a game called FTL. Faster Than Light.
Was this recommended to you by any chance?
It was not, but it I think was in the back of my mind.
Oh, sure.
And it was also recommended to me by 6,000 people on Steam who
That
all
said
rated it overwhelmingly positive.
Yeah, I was going to say.
And I was like, okay, usually that means something really good, unless it's in the case of Binding of Isaac, in which it means there's like a collective insanity going on within a game community.
Sure.
But for this one, it was justified. This game, I downloaded it and started playing it on Friday night, and I did not stop playing it all weekend long. I was up on Saturday night till 3:30 in the morning. I just cannot stop playing. So the way this game works is it's a top-down view of a spaceship. And you can see your rooms. You have a different a UI that shows you how much energy is going to those rooms, how your engine's creating energy. It will tell you which weapons are equipped. You can then assign the weapons to fire at an enemy. You can automate that fire. You can turn on a drone and send that drone somewhere. There's all these different things you can do, but basically it's just a spaceship management simulator. Which doesn't really sound that interesting on its face, if I'm being honest. But the gameplay is that you
like it's a survival almost.
It
right?
is.
Yeah.
So the story is that you are a Federation ship from like a galactic Federation. You're fleeing an approaching rebel army with carrying a message that could turn the tide of the war in your favor. So the idea is that the Galactic Federation, which is an alliance of the galaxy, has lost a war to the Rebel Alliance, and the Rebels are just a bunch of racist humans that are like, it's like a human-centric thing, and so you kind of, your crew is just a bunch of different aliens, and then the Rebels are the ones. It's really fascinating. I like the idea of the Rebels winning and becoming the bad guys, and then they're chasing you down. And so you're going through this galaxy, and you land essentially on a map, and you see all the planets on the map. And then you see, and you can port, you can jump to them, just like if you think about like a tabletop game. You can travel if the space is directly adjacent to another planet. You can travel to it. And every time you land on another planet or these little stop-off points, a random event occurs. And so that could be a pirate ship attacks you. That could be a distress beacon is crawling, and you can go down to the planet.
Dude, the distress beacons, I swear,
Oh my God.
are like 90% bad.
They're just screwing you. It's always someone getting attacked by like space spiders, and it's like, don't you want to help the people? And then I always click, fucking no, they're space spiders,
Little space marmosets.
Yeah. So there's just like all these random things, like pirates attack you, or there's a rebel scout, and if the rebel scout, if you don't kill him in time, he escapes and he goes and tells. And so the other thing is that there's this encroaching wall that represents the rebel armada catching up with you, and if you get caught behind it, you're done. Like, you can try to fight, but essentially you've been at that point caught by the rebel fleet, and they'll destroy you. And so you're constantly running, you're constantly trying to keep your ship maintained because you've got all these battles going, and you're trying to upgrade your ship so you can deal with bigger threats. Nice. That's the gameplay loop. There's one thing is that at the beginning, the very first time you die, and then many times after, it reminds you that dying is a good thing and part of the game, because it can get kind of frustrating. Like in any roguelike, you invest that much time and then your ship blows up and you have to start at the beginning and you're like, fuck, I was so close. And because it's random events, sometimes you just get screwed. Sometimes a ship that's way too strong, that literally no one could beat, shows up and you die. And it's the worst. So that is the game just kind of in general. It is, one of the other things that's really, really vital is that, you can pause the game at any time, which is super helpful because
you have to.
You have to. It is so hard to play if you're not pausing and then assigning your guys. So, a missile hits your ship and something lights on fire. You pause it. You can then open some doors to the airlock so the fire gets extinguished, or you can then select a guy and send him to go put the fire out and repair the part of the ship that just lit on fire. You can switch weapons. You can transfer energy. Like if you're really desperate and you need to shoot a missile really badly, you can turn off the oxygen in the ship and reassign that energy to your guns. And for about 30 seconds, your guys, before the oxygen runs out, like, you might be able to get that missile off and win. Which kind of takes me to the part that I think gets me coming back to the game over and over again, is these stories and these experiences. And these are the things that I really enjoy about Streets of Rogue, for example, is that even though it's a top-down, very self-aware 8-bit, 16-bit game, whatever, you can really lose yourself in the stories that it creates because it's just so immersive and engaging just based on the text. Because there's no voice acting. It's just you land in a new jump point and then a thing comes up, a little pop-up comes up with a bunch of text. You've landed here. This is what's going on. And I gripe on this podcast about not wanting to read video games, but I will read this all day. And so what's really cool is that you have these stories. So, like, for one that I wrote a few of these down that were, like, really cool. I felt like I was in a movie. I felt like I was in a space exploration movie. We land, we come into a jump point, and it's right by a star. And so it's way hot. There are solar flares going off every couple seconds. Not every couple seconds, like every minute or so, there's a solar flare, and you get a warning from it. And the solar flares just start fires on your ship. And it's uncontrollable, and you can't defend against it. You just get a boop, boop, boop right before it happens, and then the solar flare comes. So I port in front of the sun, and of course, there's a ship there that's impervious to the sun, and it wants to fight. So I'm now having this fight while solar flares are going off, while I'm working hard to keep everything maintained. I destroy the other ship, but then I look and my engine hasn't, my faster than light drive hasn't, my jump drive hasn't recharged, and I'm sitting there panicking, trying to fix the engine right next to the sun, right before a solar flare goes off, and I'm like, this is a movie. It just feels like a space flick, like a space drama. The other one, there's so I'm fighting against a pirate, and the pirate we're wrecking each other. Like, he's really damaging me, but because he doesn't have a boarding party and he doesn't have like a camera, I know he can't see inside my ship, so he doesn't know how badly I'm looking. And he's looking really bad, but like, I know I can't kill him in a succinct way, and he sends me a message. He's like, hey man, we'll just surrender, here's some scrap because I don't want to do anything about it. And so you have the option then pursue and try to kill him. But I had to make that call knowing that my shield generator was completely down and my shield room was on fire, that I was like, yeah, I could reject his surrender and I would die. So I accepted his surrender, took all his scrap without him being the wiser that he'd actually essentially won this battle. And it's these types of stories that I guess not everybody would get sucked into. Me personally, so sucked into. I am like absorbed in this world that's entirely text based, and I'm starting to see how nerds in basements in the 80s got so into D&D. Because it's like, that's me. I love to freaking role play in my head.
And the characters, your crew members, you kind of get invested,
A little attached.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
And
they all have names.
They will die. They will die.
Don't they
and it will
look
suck.
like little marmosets? Is that a different game?
No.
What game is it?
I don't know.
Oh, I don't know. Maybe that's
it's a
different
Peterson
game.
head game.
Yeah. Check back in later. we'll get to the marmoset thing you're really fixated on. There's mantises.
Yeah.
There's
Yeah.
so it's like you can send your crew and like
Maybe
board
that's what I
another
was
ship.
thinking of.
There's just so much cool shit to do in the game, and I'm 20 hours in, and it's not even opening up yet. I only have 2 ships. There's dozens of ships, and then there's even this little toggle. Every time I boot up a new game, every time I restart a run, there's this little toggle that tempts me, and it says, "Do you want to turn on like the advanced mode or whatever?"
Oh,
which
hell
is
no.
it's the expansion. So they made an
Oh,
expansion
yeah,
that has
that's
a
right.
bunch more ships, bunch more story, bunch more features, bunch more all this shit.
And you
But
haven't really explored like the base game.
So I want to get through the vanilla game first,
Yeah.
and I'm still not even feeling like I've like got it to the point where I'm like, okay, it's time to like step it up because I haven't explored this fully. Phil Manning, one of our listeners, mentioned that he'd played this game for 400 hours. Easy. I could easy see myself getting there. Just
My prediction is you don't get to 100.
probably because
Just
I
knowing
was
the way you game.
Yeah, because I was this obsessed with like no, but that's fair.
won't.
That's fair because
get there.
I felt like I was speaking the same way about Noita when I was playing it, and Dead Cells, and a couple of these other roguelikes, like Streets of Rogue. But this game is
so
scratching an itch
I
for
feel
me.
like it's so different than any of those other roguelites.
It's hitting me in this weird spot that, like, I, without a doubt, will say this is my favorite Dice of Destiny game of all time that I've ever played. No question. And it is a game that has me losing track of time that I haven't done since like I was in college gaming. Like I'm for better or worse, I'm kind of an adult now. And I'm pretty aware of like the time. Even if we're up, like Peterson and I are up to playing games till 2, I'm very aware that it's 2.
Yeah.
This game caught me at 3:30 in the morning. I looked down at my phone and thought, "Holy shit!" And that hasn't happened to me in like 5-10 years, honestly. Like where I just completely have lost track of my life for a game. And I think about this when I woke up that morning. I was up till 3:30. I woke up at 9. Jenna was still asleep. I made a pot of coffee and I sat down and played again. Started playing again right there after 5 hours. Maybe I could do that stream. So yeah, ultimately this game for me is
Buy it at any price because it's
buy
only
it any
$10.
price. I got it for $250.
Guys,
because it was on
while
sale.
If you listen to this right away, the Steam sale is still going on, and it's $2.50.
Well, that's as of today, right? So tomorrow it could be something different.
Well, I think the Steam sale goes on for another.
Oh, does it?
Week or so?
Yeah, no, it's still
So
it's still
good?
ongoing. Yeah,
Oh,
it's
man, that's
75% off right now.
Insta buy.
Gotta buy it.
And God, you can get it.
Don't have.
I bought
your
it.
Lunch. Just
You can
don't
get
go
it
buy
for
a burger.
$350, and it comes with a soundtrack, which is astounding. The soundtrack's really good too.
It's probably on Spotify
so-
too, right?
Yeah, I mean, you
YouTube,
really want to buy it.
Spotify.
Yeah. So that's
FTL.
FTL, faster than light. Before we go, Aaron, do
Yes.
you have anything? Aaron is our local tabletop expert because he works for a local tabletop game company called
Tasty Minstrel Games. So yes, we're local, based out of Morgan County. There's just a few of us. We're just chucking along, making board games. There's about 40 to 50 games in our game library, so quite extensive. If you're looking for, I don't have any new games to promote, but if you're looking for just a good, solid board game that's a little bit more strategic, a little bit thinkier, Orleans or Orleans. If you're of the French persuasion. I don't know.
Which you're probably not.
No, probably
Orleans.
not. Orleans. I'm American.
Like New Orleans.
Because when I say
Orleans.
Orleans, it makes me sound like, oh, I'm better than you. I feel like I know how to
It's just that
actually
easy.
pronounce it.
Classic Aaron. This is really Aaron's
But
MO today.
so this game is our it's a consistent seller for us. So if you want to play a really good thinky board game, definitely give that one a try for sure.
Okay, and I almost forgot that we need to re-roll for Dice of Destiny.
This is the second time in a row where you've forgotten after the
Oh yeah,
dice.
man.
That's my style. Okay, so we're gonna roll 20-sided dice. Let's
We
do
roll
that.
for the
For
genre.
And we rolled a 10, and a 10 is a mobile game.
Mobile game.
Oh yeah, that's
good.
it. Dang it, I just
So-
started a new mobile game.
Did you? Yeah, it's probably trash, huh?
We're gonna save,
It's okay.
save you some
Are you
cash.
building a city that goes
No.
destroy other cities?
Actually, this one's like a little bit like Slay the Spire, which I've never found like a good one. This one's a pretty good one. Not great, pretty good.
See, that's what Slay the Spire. Slay the Spire is kind of where this one was at in terms of like that's what I was trying to think of. That the last
You
rogue
could
like
just
that I was
sink
really
hours
really
in.
sunk into.
Yeah.
This feels like Slay the Spire, but I'm more interested in the world.
This
Yeah.
has a story.
It
Slay
has
the
a
Spire
story.
doesn't have
If
a
Slay
story.
the Spire had a story,
Oh, it'd
forget
be
about it. It
golden.
would be so amazing. So that's that. This is like Slay the Spire with a story, and I really think it's
How much money are we spending, JD?
well, it's a
Max.
mobile game, so zero. 60
$60
bucks.
But
that's with
challenge
microtransactions.
You can get a
Transactions.
free game and then spend $60 in microtransactions. Okay, and then finally, let's go me 1-2, Peterson 3-4, and Aaron 5-6 to see who plays.
Well, that crit.
That's Peterson.
That's me. All
with
right.
a mobile game.
Sweet.
Okay, so
You can't use the one that you already said.
I didn't say it.
Oh, you didn't say. Oh, that's true. We'd never know.
Yeah.
You can use it. I don't care. I mean, at this point,
I might if I like it.
3
enough.
of the last 4 weeks you've had to pick a new game, so if you have to play a game you're already
So
playing,
this
that's fine.
music is probably up my favorite game soundtracks up to like Stardew Valley. I love Stardew Valley game music, and this is just another one of those lovely 8-bit games.
You can just have this soundtrack.
This is
on.
FTL, by the way.
Yeah, this is this is what you could spend $1 on, and it is. I mean, it's an hour and a half. It's an extensive soundtrack, and I just never get tired of it because
Just let
I've
it
played this for
tickle
hours and
your
hours and
little
hours.
ear.
Yeah, it just kind of tickles your earbuds.
You know what? Save yourself $1 and just listen to our outro like 40 times.
Yeah,
Just
I
cut
just
out all
But
the
then you
timing.
get,
I
you get
just
your
need the
lovely
sample.
voice on it. You know, it's just
I just need the sample.
tainted.
All right, guys, that does it for us. Follow us on Facebook and Twitter.
Facebook, Twitter, Discord. Join us in our Discord channel. There's so much chatter going on in there. It's
Yes.
fun to hang
Discord's awesome, man.
Our Discord channel
Yeah.
is awesome. Thanks to all our Discord listeners. You guys, I love having that instant feedback from the community. So if you guys want to jump in and chat with any of us, we hang out there a lot. So check us out on Discord. I'm JD, logging off.
out. This is Peterson going AFK.
This is Aaron rolling out.
Peterson Productions. Oh, yeah.